Hello and welcome to NPC, that stands for Next Portable Console. It's the show about the games we take with us and a little sprinkle of desktop gaming PC sometimes. I'm one of your co-hosts, Federico, and it's my pleasure to be joined as always by Mr. Brendon Bigley. Hello, Brendon.
Hello. I have definitely been desktop focused recently.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that
thinking
today.
about it too.
And as you can tell, we're also joined by John Voorhees. Hello, John.
Yeah. I have a little behind the scenes thing, which is before we start recording, we get a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I feel like we're launching off into space every week when we
Lift
talk.
off. We have lift off.
We do.
It's great.
So we are going to have a desktop segment later in the show because John wants to build something. So we're going to talk about that. I also did some research today. We'll get to that later. We have some follow-up first, some sort of news recap of sorts about a bit of drama that is going on in the scene about some handhelds that are sort of not living up to the expectations.
Right.
And I think John and Brendon have been keeping an eye on those more than me, so I'll leave you guys to it.
Yeah, John, you should start with Retroid.
Sure.
Because I don't know anything about what's going on there.
So if you remember that we had the Retroid Pocket G2 that was announced alongside the Retroid Pocket 6, which got kind of communally redesigned in a little bit of drama a few weeks ago. And so that's not coming out until early next year, I think sometime in January. But the G2 has come out. The G2, though, is a lesser device in terms of its performance characteristics and its specs, and costs like $10, $15 more than the one that's coming out in less than 2 months. And so I was watching a Joey's Retro Handhelds video the other day, and I think it's a legitimate point and something that we talked about when these things were announced. You know, the Retroid Pocket G2 looks perfectly fine in terms of its specs. On the other hand, why wouldn't you wait a month or two just to get something that's a little cheaper? Unless you want to put this like under the Christmas tree in the next month, it really would be in most people's interest, I think, to wait an extra couple of months and get the more powerful device for a slightly cheaper price.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a weird decision to announce these at the same time, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, and as you said, we talked about this to death when they first announced it, but now that people are getting their hands on it, yeah, it's one of those like kind of confusing things. It just kind of muddies up. I think of Retroid as like a pretty streamlined company, all things considered. Like their lineup is pretty self-explanatory. It's like, yeah, the 2 is not as powerful as the 3, is not as powerful
Right.
as the 4 and the 5 and the 6. And now they've just kind of introduced this like weird middle ground. It feels like very like worst version of Apple in that way, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Just wait for the 6, I guess. it's really the takeaway.
I think the middle ground is always weird, and maybe I'm that kind of person. Either you go extremely low end and affordable, or you go very high end. But like, I understand that I'm that kind of person when it comes to computers, when it comes to handhelds, when it comes to consoles. I always struggle to get excited about the middle option, but the timing of the G2 is like, I don't really get it. And so it's not really... I mean, we spoke about this weeks ago when it was announced that we didn't fully understand the purpose of it. And it seems like the reviews are now pretty much agreeing with that. Like,
yeah. And also, right now, the Retroid Pocket 6, if you were to, I guess, pre-order it, is almost the exact same price as the G2.
Right.
There's a $10 difference between the two of them. The Retroid Pocket 6 is actually cheaper than the G2 is right now.
Yeah, exactly. That makes no sense.
No.
It's bizarre. What a weird thing. Can I talk about the Anbernic DS?
Yeah. I watched some of this. I watched a little bit of this.
This has been the wildest one because, like, so we've talked a lot about the Anbernic DS. We've kind of talked about it in terms of the cost breakdown of, like, there's the Ayn Neo Pocket DS, there's the Ayn Thor, and then there's the Anbernic RGDS, which they've been working on for a long time. And I think that we all kind of agree the way they've been marketing it definitely has been setting up expectations too high, because they're saying that you can play 3DS games on here.
Right.
But also it's under $100, so like very clearly the chipset won't be able to handle playing 3DS at even like 1x resolution in most games, unless you're playing very specific games. But the assumption, at least, was that DS, like regular DS, would be fine, maybe even upscalable. And I've watched a couple videos. There was one from Retro Handhelds, and then there's another one from ETA Prime, which had honestly kind of different takeaways about it. Retro Handhelds was definitely much more down on it than ETA Prime was, but there's been a lot of people like scrubbing through the ETA Prime video, and there's like very clearly, if you're using Drastic, the emulator, there's very clearly desync between the two screens, which people have figured out is because the top screen is like resetting its refresh rate to 40 hertz, out of sync with what the bottom screen is doing, which I think is locked at maybe 30.
Oh, that's weird.
So you're getting different refresh rates on each screen, which is an Android problem, but it's also one that AYN solved through software. So it's possible, hypothetically, that Anbernic would be able to solve this through patch. Anbernic is also not known for issuing patches for the devices, really. So who knows what the deal is here? The Retro Handhelds breakdown, it was like an hour long, maybe 2 hour long stream, showing off a lot of stuff. 3DS, brutal. And DS in particular, they were trying to get Melon DS running. And the quote that I pulled, at least for my blog, was just, I haven't gotten a single game running at full speed on 1x resolution.
That's just brutal.
Okay.
It's about as bad as it gets. It's like you couldn't have made a word. I mean, we joke a lot that Anbernic releases a lot of devices where it's like there's one fatal flaw. There's always like one wrong thing with it. But this isn't even like, oh, the device is pretty good, but it has one thing I wish I could fix. It's like
as fatal as it can get. Really.
This is truly fatal.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And I think it's interesting to watch the ETA Prime video in comparison because like he walked away from it being like kind of higher on it. Like he didn't dislike it, which I think is notable because there are a lot of people out there who would play it and not really notice. But I just think at this point, with dual screen handhelds being such a kind of new phenomenon in the scene, like it doesn't really make sense to like go for the cheaper option when these other ones, although they are literally twice as expensive or more, which is notable, and I'm not discounting that at all, and neither are these companies. But you need that overhead. You need that more powerful chip right now.
Yeah, I mean the problem is that Anbernic is the third entrant into this space, right? And so it's been proven that this can be done right, although at obviously a much higher price point. Yeah. And what's a real shame about this is that hardware looks really good. I think the hardware design is excellent from everything I've seen, but
everybody seems to agree about that.
And the implementation on the software side just leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah. It's interesting. I was thinking about ordering one to test out for the show, but I think I'm just going to hold off. And I mean, it seems, if I were to guess, 6 months from now, we'll see a different version of this with a different chip in it that suddenly does the things that people want it to. Because for me, even at like $120 or $130 or somewhere in that vicinity, for a device that plays every Nintendo DS game perfectly at 1x resolution in a form factor that feels exactly like the DSi XL, that's a home run for a lot of people, because as soon as you get that level of power, you can also be playing Game Boy Advance and Super Nintendo and other stuff on one or the other screens.
Right.
So it kind of gets closer to the Thor, but obviously for a different audience. I
think you're right. I think we're gonna see an upgrade in a few months. They're gonna call it DS Plus or DS.
Yeah, the DS Pro or something.
The DS Pro.
The DSX.
Yeah. Because I do think there's value in having something that looks and feels like a DS, and I mean, let's face it, a whole bunch of people are just gonna buy this one because it comes with, unfortunately, preloaded games. Right. That's what a lot of people are gonna do.
Sure.
Because I was gonna say, like, maybe you're better off just finding a DS on eBay, but I can say that because I have a personal library of DS games. Like, I still have all my cartridges.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not like that. They're just gonna get these devices because they come from China with a whole library of games, which I think is unfortunate, but that's the reality of things. So we'll see.
Yeah,
but
this is the thing about the DS, the RGDS in particular, that I think is you can't even really have the conversation the way you can about the Thor. You know, whenever we talk about the Thor, we talk about the fact that like it is good enough that it does make you question: should I be playing on original hardware? Should I be playing on the Thor? Because of save states, because of upscaling, because of everything that you have going on with that device. There are a lot of reasons that some people might actually prefer the Thor over original hardware, and the RGDS, I think, should exist in that exact spot for the DS, and it just very clearly doesn't.
Yeah, and what's really makes this bad, I think, is even, there's software bugs and problems happen, but to actually go out there and put out a video that shows it playing 3DS games and raising expectations the way they did, I just think that's not right.
Yeah.
The other thing that we haven't followed up is the Xbox full screen experience for Windows 11 is now rolling out to a whole bunch of more computers, including laptops.
Yeah.
And I think you can just pretty much install it anywhere as long as you enable they have so many channels. Is this one the developer preview channel that they have? Or is it, I don't think it's
public.
the
insiders. It's the insider thing. I'm pretty sure the insider program. I put that insider app on my Legion Go just to see, how, if it was available to me. It was not yet. And what really the bigger takeaway from that experiment in trying to get the full screen mode going on the Legion Go was that I had to first go through, I think, like 5 upgrade cycles with restarts in order, because I haven't played my Legion Go in a while, and it really needed a lot of updates. And then, of course, the Legion, the Legion Go software itself had to be updated as well. And I kind of lost track of how long and how many restarts I had to do, but it was a lot. And I think my next stop on this path is to put on SteamOS. I didn't have time to do it before we recorded today, but I'm going to back up Windows and just put SteamOS on this. I think my life will be a lot easier if I do that. I think
it's really good. It's really good. I'm I have not looked back in the weeks since I've done it. I'm just going to.
And you still have Brendon. You still have the official SteamOS on it?
Mm-hmm. It's official. Yeah, I'm not doing Catchy or Bazite or any of these other ones.
And it's getting updates. It's getting software updates
all the time.
Nice.
Like almost daily. I'm on the beta track for both the desktop and the for my mini PC and for the LIX, but in both cases they're getting like almost daily updates.
Nice. Well, speaking of that, I want to talk about what John put in the notes. John, can you explain? Because then I did a whole bunch of research for you, and
I know. Well, see, that's why I put it in there, because I thought that my good friend Federico Vitici would do the research for me, so I didn't have to. And so last week on XL, we talked a little bit about some of the videos we were seeing, YouTubers trying to approximate the Steam machine with mini PCs, and we talked about Brendon's mini PC that he put SteamOS on. And it got me thinking. I mean, I was thinking a little less along the lines of what Federico's going to suggest, although I'm really intrigued by his approach too. I was thinking to myself, well, when the Steam machine comes, where would I put it?
Okay.
Would I put it under my TV in the living room? Maybe. That would be okay.
First question.
Yeah.
Where do you usually play your games?
I usually play on my living room couch or in bed, I would say, are the two places I usually play.
So console gaming happens in the living room.
Yeah, but usually, I mean, a lot of times not on the TV. A lot of times
not on the TV.
Right. I mean, console gaming in terms of handheld gaming is just played handheld, but usually in the same location, but not on the television, because usually I'll be playing a game when my wife's doing something else, like watching the TV, for instance. But so my thought was, what if I could set up a space somewhere in my house that's just for the Steam machine?
Okay.
And
now we're talking. Okay.
Yeah, right. And that appeals to me. The problem I have is that, like, my office where I'm recording right now is not very big. It's a spare bedroom that's turned into an office. Okay. I don't have like wall space really to put like a TV on a wall.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a TV. But
I know. That's where my suggestion comes in. Then I have a couch behind me as I sit here, and at one end of the couch is a big table, like an end table, that could support some kind of screen, whatever that screen is. And so that got me thinking about, well, is one way to do this is to kind of combine a TV for when people are in here as guests, using it as a bedroom, and the rest of the time as my gaming space. And that got me, I remembered that Samsung a while back had made a computer monitor that is both a smart TV and a computer monitor. It's like a 2-in-1 type thing. So even if it's not connected to a computer, a laptop, a desktop, whatever, it has the Samsung Smart TV OS embedded in it. So you can watch like TV, movies, whatever. And though this most recent one that they have, the M9 M90 SF 4K OLED Samsung blah blah blah.
Oh yeah,
right?
Rolls off the tongue.
It is actually designed as a gaming monitor because it's 32 inches, 4K OLED. I think it's like 165 hertz refresh rate, pretty good response time. It's a good gaming monitor. Now, Brendon and I, when we were at CES, we saw some at the LG booth. I remember seeing they had these TVs that you could had a kickstand and a handle on them, and you could put them on a stick. You could put them on like a stand, and actually that kind of was intriguing to me because I thought, what if I had a gaming monitor that I had a really nice, a good sturdy kickstand and a handle, and I can move it around my house and play wherever I wanted to. Well, that doesn't really exist. This is kind of the closest thing to that. And that's what got me thinking of the second accessory here, Federico, that I listed, which is a mobile TV cart, which is essentially a stick on wheels that you Visa mount the TV to, and you can roll it around a little bit.
No, that reminds me of a hospital for some reason. Like
it is a little hospital adjacent. Yes, it's a little bit like that. But I would be able to roll it away to the side when I wasn't using it, and have it closer, than having an end table on a couch where I'd be at one end of the couch. The monitor would be at the far end of the couch. I haven't found I'm not really sold on what my setup would be. I don't have a lot of space, and I want a good screen for a small PC. And so now you're going to tell me what I need, Federico.
Okay, I think you're overthinking this.
I think I probably am. I do that a lot,
Yeah. First question. Why can't you just change the monitor on your desk?
Well, that is what I was thinking. The Samsung could be that. Right? Or some other screen.
Okay. So size-wise, what kind of monitor do you have now?
I have a Mac Studio display. So
27-inch.
27-inch. Yeah, I could go as high as 32, though.
Okay.
I don't think I would go bigger than that, though.
So if I were in your shoes, and I know because I was last year, I would get a monitor that, unlike the Apple ones, actually lets you switch between multiple inputs.
Yeah.
And this is what I've been using for more than 6 months for sure. I don't remember when I finalized my desk, but I have my Asus 27-inch 4K OLED monitor that allows me to move between my Nintendo Switch, my computer, and my gaming PC. And there's a little knob in the back of the display. You can just reach and change the inputs. Very easy, very reliable. There's plenty of monitors that you could consider in the 27 or 32-inch size that support multiple inputs, right? So I would actually consider that. And I think the other question that I have is, so your goal is to have a desktop gaming angle just for you, because you have the handhelds, you can go around the house with the handhelds, but you're missing a place where you can do PC desktop gaming without bothering your wife in the living room with the TV.
Yes, that is the main goal here. Yes.
Okay. And ideally, that's in the future you're gonna want to try that with a Steam machine, right? But in the meantime, you kind of wanted to experiment with mini PCs and SteamOS. I'm guessing.
Yeah. And actually, before you get there, Federico, the one thing that I find that turns me off a little bit to getting a replacement for my studio display is I'm not certain that I want to sit at my desk chair any more than I already do during the day when I'm working.
That's been a big problem for me in particular, because I do like everything in this room.
Yes.
And
same.
increasingly, I'm trying to find ways to split up like recreation and work between different rooms.
Well, then I cannot help you there because this is the only space that I have. So
Well, that's my problem too, Federico, is I don't have a very good other space for this. I have, the living room is probably
Well,
out
then
in
just
that
suck it
sense.
up and do it. I mean, if there's no other place, I mean, sure, we can sit here and, imagine a potential new space for you. If you don't have the space, you don't have the space.
Well, I do have one other option. I have a second bedroom on the same floor as my bedroom that is usually unoccupied. That's where it's the primary guest bedroom. This one, my office is only used if we have like 2 sets of people.
But do you have permission to use that bedroom?
Well, I think I could probably swing it. I think I could probably swing it. I think it would probably go over better if it was some sort of office equipment instead of doing something in the second bedroom. But I could probably swing that. So your setup is worth considering only because I do think that is another possible place I could do it.
Yeah. Okay. Think about that. I mean, obviously, you got to make a decision first if you want to also do your desktop gaming in the office. But I understand if you don't want to spend any more time in the office.
Right.
It can be hard to move, that's why, like, whenever I want to do some gaming, I have a separate set of, like, I have a keyboard for my gaming PC and a mouse for my gaming PC. So when I want to play games, I just push the Apple Magic Keyboard and the Apple Magic Trackpad below the monitor, and I actually put the gaming keyboard in front of me and my controller so that, like, at least visually, like, I'm sort of faking that I'm changing my desk when I'm really not, because it's the same space. But at least you can have some visual separation like that.
Sure.
But we should talk about the actual gear, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Steam Machine is going to come out when it's going to come out. We don't know. If you want to run... So, okay. If you want to run some experiments now, it depends. Like, we just spoke about that. I would recommend the very high end. I would recommend...
I can tell from these links.
I did some research for you in the show notes for some Strix Halo mini PCs. These are going to be expensive, especially one of them that Brendon mentioned quickly last week, the Framework desktop. And I did some digging into that. So I'm going to recommend some Strix Halo mini PCs. And I'm going to pick my 4 favorite options. You have the Framework desktop, but I want to have a conversation about that. The GM Tech Evo X2, the Minis Forum MS S1 Max, and the B-Link GTR 9 Pro. These are all kind of similar to each other. You can spec them slightly differently. The GM Tech, I think, looks really nice, and it's often on sale on Amazon. I'm sure you can find some Black Friday deals right now. They're all rocking the same. You can choose 2 configurations: the 385 or the 395, which is the high-end Strix Halo. And you can choose different models with different amounts of RAM, essentially.
Right.
The Framework desktop. So, if money were no object, I would just get a Framework desktop because I'm curious. I totally missed the announcements a few months ago. So this is a very compact. It's a mini ITX, 4.5 liters chassis, mini PC that has the 2 versions. You can configure this thing with the 2 versions of the Strix Halo, the 385 or the 395. Now, the big controversy here is that Framework is usually known for its repairability and the fact that you can upgrade the Framework laptops, for example, down the road with new modules for the CPU or RAM or, expansion cards and all of that. The Framework desktop only supports expansion cards right now. These are little accessories that you can choose with USB-A ports, USB-C, or Ethernet, stuff like that.
Not too many options, honestly.
Not too many options. You can also configure some of the custom tiles that add a little bit of personality to the chassis of the Framework desktop, or you can 3D print yourself some custom tiles that you can slot in place in the body of the computer. The problem is that there are no plans right now to make the Framework desktop upgradable in the future. So if there's a Strix Halo 2 or whatever it's going to be called, you will not be able to change that CPU module in the Framework desktop. And also the RAM is soldered alongside the CPU to the motherboard. So the RAM that you choose right now is the RAM that you're going to have forever.
So not really any different than buying like a Mac at this point.
So
that.
you're
And not so
basic-
much different than buying the Steam machine as well.
Yeah,
like,
true.
So you're gonna get a really cool looking mini ITX computer that is also on the expensive side when you spec it up to have the high-end Strix Halo. I mean, for me, it's gonna cost me more than 2,000 euros, for example.
Yeah, I know. I saw.
I mean, it's cool looking and it's customizable, but it's not really like, for me, the whole appeal of the framework laptop, for example, is the idea of like, oh, I'm buying a new GPU module and I'm just going to stick it right in and I'm going to, or I'm going to upgrade my RAM and I'm going to, make my computer modular. It's not really modular, right?
Right.
So I
will say on my end, I don't know how much of an issue. Like, I do think that the desktop is for a very different audience than the laptop is. Like, I understand the critiques about it, but I also think that they're considering that this is for a different group of people.
Yeah.
And at least if you're specking this out, which a lot of people seem to be for like your AI desktop, then it's going to be well over $2,000, probably closer to $2,500 US. If you're specking it out for gaming and like throwing SteamOS on it and getting it, above what the Steam machine is capable of, you're gonna be under $2,000, which is still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. That's probably close to 3 times the price of what the Steam machine will be, maybe twice. But still, I don't think you need to go all the way up to like 128 gigs of RAM, especially in the current world we live in right now, where RAM is what it costs.
I mean, my gaming PC has 96 gigs of RAM, and it's overkill.
It's way overkill.
But by the way, right now, the GM Tech Evo X2 with the 395 is discounted by almost $700 for Black Friday. The 64 gigs of RAM version with 1 terabyte SSD and the 395 is $1,500 instead of $2,200. So
it's pretty good.
But
pretty good.
Okay, so here's the thing. Do you want to have, because these are going to be experiments for you right now, right?
Yeah.
And you are planning on getting, unless it's a nightmare, but you are planning on getting a Steam machine down the road.
I am, which is why this experiment, it's more of a thought experiment than a real experiment at this point. Because I think with the Strix Halo, we're going to see the prices come down next year anyway. And it's probably the better play is to get the Steam machine, see how it is, see how it goes, and then consider upgrading to something more powerful after that, once the prices on the Strix Halo start coming down a little more.
Yeah, don't get the Strix Halo now.
That's kind of was where I got with this, especially after seeing some of your links this morning before we recorded. I was like, I don't know, $1,500 to $2,000. I'm not doing that right now.
Then I would say, I personally had a bad experience with Minis Forum personally. And I had to return it last year. I was going to say,
when did you have a Minis Forum?
I had it for a few days and it wasn't working. I just returned it. It was constantly throttled. Something was wrong with the heat dissipation system. I would consider, if you really want to have these experiments now, one of the mid-tier B-Links. That's what I would do. Kind of something similar to Brendon.
Pretty good. Basically. Pretty good. They're a pretty good value.
I think if you got the SDR8 like I have, you would be very, very happy. I mean, it plays everything I throw at it. It's just I have to tweak the settings sometimes to bump it down from like ultra to high or like high to medium, but still it's playing everything.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds
and
really
probably
good.
also on sale. I have no idea, but I would assume it's on sale at this point.
They're not on sale.
We're recording this like right before Black Friday.
The SCR9 Pro is not on sale on the B-Link website right now, but they're also on Amazon. So most likely you can find something on Amazon.
Yeah, there are some B-Links that are on sale on Amazon right now. I've checked them out. I don't think it was the AMD models, but I might be wrong about that.
Okay, wait a second. Their SCR9 Max is under $700 right now.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
The Max is let's see. The that's pretty sweet. I like it's basically like a fake Mac Mini, essentially what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, they have one with the Ryzen AI 9 that's $900, down from $1,200, and they have another one that's the SCR9 Max with AMD Ryzen 7, which is under $700 right now, which is a pretty good price.
Yeah,
Think about it, John. Think about it.
Those are both pretty good options, honestly.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the advice. I appreciate the advice. I've been thinking about this, and at some point, I gotta pull the trigger and like set something up somewhere. But I need both a screen and the actual box. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I'm watching with great interest. I'm at the point now where I am sold on getting another thing, like another mini PC, either the Steam Machine or something like what we just talked about.
Right.
Because the experience I'm having at my desk setup is so great that I just want to replicate that out in the living room. Like I just want that. I'm going to go all in on SteamOS next year, and I'm going to have that. I'm going to have something out in the living room, and then I'm going to use SteamOS on the LIX as my like
nice
mobile going out stuff. It feels like the future for me.
Yeah. Federico, before we go,
Mm-hmm.
we should talk about the Ayn Thor Grip a little bit.
Okay.
I've been wanting to talk about this because
I've been using it all day today. I really like it.
Do you have it with you there? Because
no, it's in the other room. I was actually playing Luminous Arise on the Thor, and I was using the grip. Pretty good.
The grip,
I think it's
the grip is really good, don't you think? I mean, I think there's not much to say about the grip. It's a relatively inexpensive accessory, but it is very comfortable.
Piece of silicone.
It's just a piece of plastic that you shove your Thor into, and it does make it noticeably heavier and bulkier. So it's not something that I would take with me when I leave the house.
No.
However, if I'm just at home, it's much more comfortable.
Much more comfortable. I recommend it. Like it's gonna make the whole thing bulkier. Now, if we're gonna toss it in a backpack, that's fine. I was actually I went out last week with the Thor in my jacket pocket, as I mentioned, and I couldn't do that with the grip. But if you put it in a bag, in a backpack, whatever, it's gonna be fine. And if you play at home for several hours because you want to play, I don't know, a JRPG with a 3DS emulator, you're gonna have a much better time with your hands gripping the Thor because it's a lot more comfortable. Yeah.
Did you get the grip, Brendon?
No, I didn't. I'm constantly thinking about it though, because the more I play the Thor, the more uncomfortable I feel like it is.
And it's not great. It's not. I mean, it's probably the biggest knock against the Thor, I would say, is the ergonomics of it.
Yeah. Especially compared, weirdly enough, to like the DS and the 3DS. Like it's significantly less comfortable.
I wonder if it's the weight because it's a lot heavier. A lot heavier.
It's putting a lot of pressure on the palms, is what I've noticed. So
yeah, exactly.
Grip is for.
Well, I didn't tell the guys. I am bringing a surprise topic in NPC XL. We will also have. All I'm gonna say is that we're also gonna have to brainstorm something for me, in addition to brainstorming something for John. And it's a whole thing. It involves an entire room. So we're gonna talk about that for NPC XL, which you can get on our Patreon just by subscribing for $5 a month.
Yes, thanks everybody. It's the week of Thanksgiving here in the U.S., so thank you all.
Happy Thanksgiving
for supporting us.
Happy
with
Cyber
NPC
Monday.
Yeah, we're gonna go all Cyber Monday. Who named these things? I had this conversation the other day with Federico, and we were just marveling about it. But
Cyber Monday.
Oh well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's our Cyber Monday. We'll be back in another week, folks. In the meantime, you can find Brendon over at wavelengths.online. Me and Federico are at macstories.net, and we're all on social media. Just look for us there. You'll find us. Talk to you later, guys.
Bye
everyone.